When darkness falls, and we are live. So, hello, welcome to. Well, I had this whole introduction prepared, and now I've lost it already. So that's the typical start of Talking Void, I'm guessing. Ready to watch some TV? That's what I was going to say, because it's Talking Void, which is TV, which is pretty funny, which became anyhow. Welcome to my guest of this evening, my fourth guest on the show, Mr. Roger. He's our dungeon master at the Precipice of Dreams. And Roger, tell us, how are you feeling?
First of all, thanks for having me, because I'm feeling pretty excited. Wanted to be part of this show since the first time I watched it 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to answer all of your questions and talk a bit of D&D and other stuff with you.
Yeah, so we're going to do that, but do you know what we're going to do first?
No.
Go to the other intro.
Really? We have another? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And as our DM likes to say, and we are back. So, we are back. Welcome, Roger, to this Talking Void episode, the fourth one, after the fourth episode of the Precipice of Dreams, of course. You have to remember to keep looking that way. This time it's a bit different. Previous episodes we discussed what happened with the other characters, of course, the other players. Not especially the other characters, but this time it's the dungeon master who might be lifting the veils on what is happening and telling us all about the ending of the adventure. I don't know. He might do that. He might not
probably,
do that. Probably. He's saying probably. We'll hold them to that statement. But before we start the whole talky bit, let's first do some socials, because we live on our socials. They are our backbone and our lifeline and our something with a golden thread or something within a maze with a minotaur and everything. So we've got socials, and we've got a lot of them. We've got our Instagram, we've got our Twitter account, we've got our Discord server that's up and running, which is totally cramped and busy and everything. We have our YouTube channel. We of course have our Twitch channel. Did I miss any?
Twitter? I don't know. You can find all of them below in the void.
You can find all of them below. So please subscribe and do stuff. It helps us greatly. We are starting to reach our goals on Twitch to become an affiliated. So that's pretty cool. We've hit quite a lot of marks in the previous month. Hopefully we can continue that in maybe not this month, but the next month, because we will have a small break after the next Precipice of Dreams and then the next Talking Void, I'm guessing. So 2-week hiatus, I think.
Just call it a summer break.
Because of holidays and everything. What?
Yeah, a summer break. Yeah.
Summer break, yeah. And then we will continue with all the stuff we are doing. I'm announcing that here because it's fresh from the stuffy, the thingy, and the thingy and everything. So but tonight we will just be talking with each other, with chat for a bit. It seems to me that we are here to entertain, and our dungeon master feels a bit stupid and contagious. So anxious to know what that's about. Of course, I know the lyrics.
90s references. But
Yes,
okay.
yes. Before you call me stupid.
We're just old, right?
Yeah, we're just old. That's true. Let's go to our, not really our first question, but our first part of the show. I feel dated, says Asner. And Michel says, and we will come back stronger than ever. And
After summer break
says things and stuff. So that's pretty funny because things and stuff is a thing now, you know?
Yeah, you're a meme. Nice.
Yeah, I'm a meme. I knew it beforehand, but this show has just, made it official. So, dialogue. The experience so far, that's the first thing I want to discuss with you. Because I think there are a lot of things happening. We did 3 pre-sessions now and 4 live sessions, which is pretty amazing as far, is what I'm thinking. But how do you feel?
Yeah, that's as you said, we started with 3 pre-sessions, and I was actually the one holding us back before we actually went live for a broader audience, because I had to learn all the technical stuff as well, learn to control OBS and get used to streaming, all the while being a dungeon master for a D&D game, which can also be a mental challenge, so to say. And the first couple of times, the first 2 times especially, I was very nervous before we started. But I've noticed that there's a slight decline in that. And as I said earlier, that we also started to make mistakes now in production, like forgetting some intro or stuff like that. But as far as DMing the game goes, I'm feeling quite comfortable already. There's a lot of input from you guys, the players, and that gives me a lot to work with, so to say. And there's a lot of times when I can just sit back and listen to you guys go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, we're quite a talk active group, I think.
Yeah, well, wouldn't consider Bowen a group, but yeah.
Oh, you had me there. Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I think that when Bowen starts talking, he just talks a lot, and because he stumbles over his words, and Jasper seems to do as well. It's a bit more. I quite like doing that on Talking Void because it makes things interesting. Never having the same introduction or still searching for that wonderful introduction.
Well, I actually find that kind of relaxing, the scripted introduction, because for me that's when I'm done with that introduction, that's when all nerves die out and I become less anxious and just can fall into a natural flow.
So right now you're feeling pretty anxious then?
Yeah, because I didn't get to do my intro, so yeah.
Well, do your intro now then. Come on.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Voidcast. No, that's okay. I'm fine. I'm not in control of anything right now, which is also weird. But I'm trying to go with flow.
I'm in control. Here. I can do all kinds of stuff. Let me see if I can shift your screen. No, I'm not going to do that. But minimize you and everything, and put out your sound. Oh, I can do that quite well. No, I will not do that either. So that's the experience so far as a DM. Of course, you aren't part of the group, and yet you are a part of the group. It's always a bit funny when you're a dungeon master. I can relate to that. You have talked a bit about how you experienced maybe the technical stuff, the stress that comes with doing something new. How do you experience the adventure itself? Well,
It's there's a lot more pressure than I usually have with my games because I feel a greater need to entertain. Like we have to do a lot more during one session than we normally would. I'm fine with having a D&D session that just ends up being us talking and figuring stuff out and discussing rules or something and not getting anything done in the evening. I'm sure you're familiar with that as well. But for a show like this, it's different. Because you have an audience, you feel like there's certain stuff expected of you. And especially when you had a great session last time, for me in particular, it was with Flash Monster. You feel the need to top that, which is actually impossible because you can't keep topping every session because, you at some point you reach a top, a summit, and then you have some decline, and then you can go up again. But that feels weird, so to say.
Yeah. So you don't experience that in your. Well, this is a question you're already answering that I have later on. But
sorry. Okay.
but you don't feel that pressure in your normal games?
Well, not as much. Yeah, I like to steer towards some big epic moments, and I do a whole build up towards that, and that usually pays off. And afterwards, then everything becomes more quiet, and I keep my players just in the rush of that moment. But there are some more ups and downs in normal sessions, and I feel like I have to perform and entertain a lot more during these live sessions on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I know that that might be a flaw because I can't keep topping myself because at some point I've reached the top and the only way to go is down. But
it doesn't matter. You can stop topping after 50 sessions or so. Then you can.
50. Okay, thanks. Yeah. No, that eases the pressure. Thanks for that.
My pleasure. I know how this works. I have no experience with pressure at all. When I'm a dungeon master, you know this of me. So just a little pain relief for the end of next year or something. No, but don't feel too pressured. But I think you know that I would say that to you, and I am saying it to you. So yeah, you're always saying it to me. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So okay, well, I think that's a great answer to the first part of this show. There's nothing yet in chat, so let's just continue to the next part. Well, this plays into it. It's still discussing the last episode. So a lot of things happened. What did you expect and what did you not expect?
Well, first, I didn't expect you guys to be so paranoid and untrustworthy towards the Templar. You, well, not you in particular, but the Aros were kind of worried that they wanted to get rid of any evidence and put a lid on the whole situation. And I didn't expect that, but I thought it was pretty funny because I had nothing planned of the sort. So, but I know. But there was this whole discussion beforehand, and when I was listening to it, I just knew it was a moot point. So I just sat back and listened to the whole discussion, and I didn't expect the wonderful conversations we had around the campfire with those NPCs. That was really fun for me because I had to actually improvise a lot at that point. But that's okay. That was fun. And overall, I thought you guys would have made it to Bresser a lot earlier than you did. But I'm kind of getting used to that now.
Kind of our thing. I think you had expected us to arrive here 3 sessions ago. Or...
Maybe.
Well, it's the thing about 2.5 hour sessions as well, I think.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot less time for everything. Um, yeah, you guys are really good in keeping the conversation alive. So you talk a lot to each other while you are traveling, and that makes it a lot of fun for me, at least. And yeah, that made it easier for me to let it all go and move away from the original plan I had for the adventure. Because I had something else planned that pre-sessions would take up less time than they are doing now, but I've let it go that it's actually pre-sessions because they're not
Yeah, we're
anymore.
still talking about it as if it were pre-sessions, but it's the adventure right now.
Yeah, it started.
It's a bit of a funny thing on itself, of course, because what's a pre-session?
Is that a question?
Yeah, well, maybe it could be.
Well,
Who
uh,
knows?
Now, for me, it would be an opportunity for you guys to flesh out your characters, determine how you want to situate yourself in the world, and get to know your classes, even though most of us are experienced D&D players and we don't need that kind of stuff, but still learning to use your abilities, what you're worth in combat, get a feel of your character. That's what we wanted to do. Because once we went live, we wanted to have an intimate knowledge of ourselves and the world and the characters. And a lot of the stuff you're doing now is learning, getting to know the world, getting to know each other, and but I've also introduced a couple of story elements earlier than I actually planned, which is fun to do in this way.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Because you're getting to know ourselves, but the other thing is that our viewers are getting to know us with us, so to speak.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, you establish it pretty quickly during that first the real three pre-sessions we had, because well, the first session, you all had these ideas of how you wanted to play your characters, and you brought them to the table. But once you dove into those characters, yes, stuff happened, and you had to react. And for some people, it changed the initial ideas they had with their character. Maybe not for you, but I know for some of us it did.
Well, there are 3 others. Who could it be?
Maybe all 3 of them.
Maybe. Oh, just not me. Yeah.
I don't know. Was it like that for you?
Yeah, it was. Because with those first stumbling words, my character was really born. We discussed it exactly in the background part with Michel, but I had written him down, and that already changed how I viewed Bowen. And then those first few sentences that I had to speak, which was in large part because we were talking English and not Dutch, and I had to find the words, because for some reason the word stall or saddle, or well, saddle not that much, but straps, or they don't come to me naturally when I'm speaking English. I can.
Yeah, one of the first lines you said actually was that you were carrying a casket.
Yeah, a casket.
Set the other players aback, but you meant chest at the time. Yeah. But people thought you were carrying around a corpse or something. Which is kind of funny. But, yeah.
So Esner is asking, speaking of the pre-sessions, and perhaps I missed this, but what in the world motivated these people to travel together?
Yeah, you can actually check that out on our Discord. If you can... I'm not sure if I set the permissions correctly, but there's a section called handouts. And the first handout is actually what brought these people together. But you want to...
It's a handout that brought us together. Just a journey, nothing more, really. Traveling together to a singular Well, to the town called Brentwick, because we all needed to go there, and
Yeah, it was.
someone wanted to have a cook. Yeah.
Yes, Sir Gunther posted a message in a small village to. He was looking for traveling companions because there was safety and camaraderie in numbers, as he put it himself.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they're together.
Yeah.
To travel from A to B.
And now we're shouting at each other, so great progression.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about that?
Yes, let's do. Let's go to our next question. Because the DM is here, let us discuss Bowen's journey so far. I just said before we started this, well, because I'm here, we are always talking about Bowen, and then the Dungeon Master, or Roger, said, well, and he's having his screen time in the sessions as well. But yeah, I can't not talk about this when you're on screen with me. And although we can't go into depths with the other characters, like Thomas, for example, we can, of course, discuss a bit of what happened. Because what did you expect and what did you not expect? I would have thought you didn't expect Thomas's reaction to Bowen last session. Or maybe you did, I don't know.
Well, not this in this severity, but I did notice him frowning when you were exposing his master as a liar, and he didn't like it at all. And there's a strong loyalty towards Gunther. But the way you went about it was,
bit harsh.
yeah, but
I don't know.
But not that weird.
I have Jasper's perspective, and I have got Bowen's perspective of the situation. And Jasper's perspective is that it was pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty cool as well, but I also panicked for a moment when he did it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think one of the first things I said to you guys when we were discussing the pre-sessions was that I expected of you, as the DM of you guys, to really become a party once you reach Brentwick. Like, become not necessarily friends, but people who were going to stick together. And when stuff like this happens, I don't know. It's splitting the party is never a good idea, but there's not really a party to split when this stuff keeps happening.
I thought about that, and the funny thing is, I talked with Jin on the previous episode, of course, about what makes a party, and that's some cohesion and whole story about that on the previous Talking Void, and then. That question, of course, came after we had experienced the flesh monster. Thank you for that, by the way. I thought, well, if we are bonding, this is the moment that it will happen, because we experienced this as a collective, and it went all hoary, strange, macabre, whatever. It was pretty gross as well, but we really understood that something big had happened there. Possibly the birth of a new wound. Well, it was the birth of a new wound, but it has been erased by now, hopefully. So that was would have been a great point in
bonding moment.
Great bonding moment.
Yeah, well,
I think it happened for a short while, and Michel is saying Bowen had it coming. Snitches get stitches. I don't know about that. Bowen has quite a different view on the matter, but. And he really has, by the way. It's this is what I want to say about it. I want to say everything but Bowen really wasn't doing what he was being blamed for. Well, it seemed that he was doing exactly that, but that was not what was on his mind. So the reaction that came from Thomas, but also when we got to Brester from the other party members, it really came to us as a shock to Jasper as well. I have to say.
Oh.
Yeah. I was pretty shaken. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was all Bowen.
No. Yeah. Well, I was shaken, but I liked it. Bowen was shaken, but he didn't like it.
Yeah, of course.
There was a difference between the two.
But that you didn't see it coming. It's just Because the way you, what happened was that you, out of the blue, you just called Gunther out on his lies, even though they were maybe classified as white lies by some people, but it was unsolicited when you did it, and that was what I think set.
I know the reasoning. I know. I understand. It's also from Jasper's perspective. But it was not why I was saying it. And that's Bowen's perspective.
Sure.
And because I was so focused on Bowen's perspective as Jasper at that moment, I didn't realize that it would lead to such consequences. Thomas' reaction. But I loved it, of course, because that makes great adventuring.
It causes some drama, and drama is always nice and entertaining. But I do hope you guys find a way to mend broken relations. And
of course we will. But I've played a character in your campaign for quite a long time, and I was always at odds with Michel's character. So
once you met him,
I was at odds with my whole party. But that was because Staborn was his last name, and he was quite stubborn. So
no kidding.
Yeah. So well, Michel's laughing in chat. But the funny thing is that I'm playing Bowen as this really friendly guy. He's not trying to imply anything.
No, but he has a certain naivete.
No, it's not that.
No, but it comes across like that.
Yes, it comes across like that. That's true. Yeah. Oh wow, says Sir Skankulot, opening old wounds. Michel says so much sexual tension. I don't know if that's between us or...
Yeah, I think it's between you two.
Okay, let's see.
No, not us two.
No.
You two.
Okay. Oh, okay. Anyway, so that's on camera. Make a gif out of that, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
My pleasure. Well, between Strife and Anfortas, truly not between. The sexual tension between Anfortas and Strife, which were both of our characters. Well, no, but of course. I love Bowen's journey, and I loved it last session especially because the thing that happened in that moment made me realize how well I was in character. So that
and that also brings me to a bit to the end of the session when Kiss started to become restless and and you panicked, right?
Yeah, I panicked. I panicked as Bowen, but I was really into it as Jasper. So.
Because after the session we were talking to each other and evaluating how it went, and Michel pointed out that no one asked Kiss, "Show me."
Yeah.
You just, oh, he's acting weird. Oh, why is he acting weird? And then you went inside.
Well, I had that was really was Bowen.
I
Because as
understand.
Jasper
But
had
if you have
all.
it, if we're talking about the previous question about expectations, I expected you guys to say, "Show me" or something, and you didn't. You just went inside.
Yeah. And then he calmed down,
Stuck your
so
head
that's
in the
okay
sand.
as well. Well, yeah,
That's fun.
it's not how Bowen. Oh man, these character and player differences, so great.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's also a point in D&D.
Yeah.
Not being yourself.
Yeah, I'm not myself, man. I'm just not myself.
I'm just not feeling as myself.
So, Bones' journey. Well, there was Bones' journey in last session, but I love his whole journey up till now, and I think you've provided a lot of circumstances where I can really do my stuff, and of course the other persons in the party as well, because you really bounce off each
I was
other.
about to say. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. And I loved, I have to say this as well, because the moment that Thomas did what he did, I think that when I was talking to Eric, I said, well, when are we going to see what Thomas is like? And he said, well, was more of a Gunter's session, and maybe we'll see something about him in another session. And yeah, for sure.
We did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
Yeah.
What made you this is for you by Donkere Rups, who is in chat as well, and sneak peek of a sneak no, not a sneak peek, spoiler. All questions come from Donkere Rups this episode because of the summer, I'm guessing, but he really
more people would ask for questions.
But he really had a couple of great questions. So let's talk about those. What made you decide to take up the DM role instead of being a player?
Okay, yeah. So I actually like being a DM a lot more than being a player. I mean, I like being a player as well. I play in one of Jasper's campaigns, but DMing is by far the most fun for me in D&D. And the idea for this adventure had been floating around in my mind for a couple of years now. Then at some point, Jasper called me and said, hey, want to do a D&D live stream? And I said, yeah, but I want to be the DM. Because I have the story in my head. So it wasn't really a decision. It's just something I wanted to do from the start. And I wanted to DM more as well. I mean, I DM once, I've DM'd once every 2 weeks, and now I'm back to once a week. So I'm happy with that.
I can imagine. Yeah. So we're skipping over a big part, I think, of last episode, and Michel is pointing this out. Because, of course, we have to talk a bit about the ending of the previous episode. I didn't skip this, Michel, but because you asked in chat right now, sure, we'll talk about that now, What do you think about the end of the episode, Mr. Dungeon Master?
No, he's asking what you thought of the
end. Yeah, that's true,
episode.
but I want to know from you first, because you're my guest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a bit messy for me because I knew what Ottlief was going to do, and I knew about circumstances which he needed to make her do it. And you guys were taking your sweet time, and I looked at the clock and I saw it's almost 11, and we have this set end time, and hopefully I can end with a nice cliffhanger. And so it was a bit of a stressful period, and you guys kept talking as you tend to do. And But other than that, story-wise and the stuff that happened was, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So what's the
2 cliffhangers? So
yeah, 2? Only 2? I don't know. I can count so many. What did Jasper think about what happened at the end of the episode? What Jasper thought was, "Booyah, Gunther!"
What?
Yeah.
What does that
really.
mean?
What? Because he trusted the damn shard to him, to her.
Ah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
We had all this whole discussion about trust and honesty and not revealing stuff and the intentions and everything. And then, of course, Audrey goes to her room, takes out the glass and does the one thing she shouldn't do with it. I was very happy.
She's a manipulative one, isn't she?
Yeah. With those amber eyes and blue hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I really thought that was pretty great how that went, and when this I'm so looking forward to this next session when I'm going to say something like Bowen takes gives Gunther an angry stare or something, I don't know. Just leave it at that or something. Probably not. I will talk about it at length, but yeah. I thought that was the breaking point, and where some of Bowen's tenets should have been taken more serious.
Okay. Yeah, you feel justified in your.
Yeah, I feel pretty justified. Yeah. Yes. And not to say that. I haven't heard when we had we talked after the previous episode. This didn't come up in this way, and I've said this right now, so Michel knows right now, and you know. But I don't know if Erik is here.
Should be.
Jin isn't. So.
I said he really should, but he isn't, I think. But let's not delve into that.
No, but I'm so looking forward to that moment, and I hope to see shame on their faces. That's the other thing. Yeah, but it will probably not happen because egos and stuff. But yeah, I loved it, and well, Bowen doesn't know yet, so there's no perspective there yet. And from a Dungeon Master point of view, I really liked how it went, because it was so scripted, unscripted in the moment. And I really liked that. I can imagine the build up to that point, and I know how these things work when you do stuff like this. I can also imagine the time pressure, but we'll not talk about time pressure ever again, because we've decided that when the show needs to go on a bit longer to finish important stuff, that will happen, right?
We'll stop when I say we stop.
Yeah. So prepare for sessions deep into the night, and then
exactly.
Yeah. Can't watch till the end? Just watch our VOD. But anyway. So the chat is going wild. Wow, there are 4 new messages, that's what I'm trying to say. You all play multiple roles. Dungeon Master your characters, but all the music, movie clips, artwork, interviews, shows. How much do you keep it all separated? That's from Esner. So I think this relates to when we were talking about as Jasper, as Rocher, as doing OBS, as doing reflecting on stuff, as doing a post show, as doing everything. How do you keep it separated? Let's keep it. No.
Stop.
It's so 90s right now, but gotta keep it separated. Anyway,
just answer the question. Come on.
Oh yeah, the question. Yeah. It's I don't know.
No, okay, yeah. I'll
Lately
give it a go then.
no. That's my answer. I don't think I am keeping it separated right now, because it's a lot. We're doing 3 shows right now. One is only 1 episode right now, but we prepared for the Precipice. We had a half year to prepare for that, and then we started it. Nearly half a year. Then a Talking Void was always in my mind, but we did it. I decided the week before Precipice to really start doing that after the first show. And then we have parallel projections, which was even faster, I think.
Things like this show doesn't take up that much preparation as something like Precipice does, because we have all the artwork, the music, the credits, the intros, and everything for that, and we just borrowed it from that show for this one. And
really, but there's this thing that we have another life as well. Day jobs, children, wives, other stuff to do concerning family or home games, other games, this, and you have to
our own leisure time.
You have to really think of
balance
when you're balance. Yeah, it's all about balance, and I have to say that sometimes it gets a bit messy, but that's why we are doing the summer stop as well, because we have to relax. There's also this virus in the air, COVID-19 or Corona, that's the name, and that has put a lot of pressure on in another respect on our home situations. And at the same time, it accelerated some stuff as well. So, yeah, it's complicated, but it's fun as well. So, but we really have to get into the groove for the longer haul, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and we do divide the work. I mean, what Esther is saying is a whole sum of things, but we divide that across multiple people. I mean, I prepare the adventure. Michel does a lot of the editing and video stuff, and Jasper prepares this and does multiple shows, and so we each do our stuff, and everyone chips in, and I mean, there's 5 of us, and together we can put in a lot of work. And Jeanette helps out a lot as well. We have people behind the scenes even.
Yeah, we are really glad to have Jeanette on board with us as well. So she's not on any cameras up till now, but she does a lot as well. And
you should have her on the show. You should have her on the show if you want.
Yeah, maybe I should. Yeah. Let's see what that brings us. I'll ask her. Yeah. And now Michel says, how would you know that I have caused my own disappearance? I don't know that, of course, but it's what I'm looking forward to when something...
in all fairness, he asked Jasper, and Jasper knows, Bowen doesn't.
Yeah, true. And Bowen does, but I of course said that Bowen would take a look at Gunther, but that's only if that it will ever be appropriate.
If you even know that she's gone.
Hope that, and that's the other thing. But I so hope that this will come out and I can gloat about it. Yeah. Then you've locked yourself into your own room. Nobody came in. Nothing went out. Yeah. There's gonna come up with a name.
I'm not sure where you're going.
Yeah, this writer, with the Draven. For some reason, I can't come up with his name. But
okay.
Murder mystery, and it's of course a classic. But anyway, someone might have been waiting there for me.
Edgar Allan.
Edgar Allan Poe, yeah, of course, yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. Sorry. And we're not disrespecting you. And yes, another 90s reference. And the socials, and there are socials. Socials.
Questions.
I can't remember the question.
Do you have any?
Oh yeah, the Dungeon Master role. Well, it was a pretty short answer you gave.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a decision. It's something I wanted, and I grabbed the opportunity. So
it was a decision, but no one was included except for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can relate, but. Well, funny thing is that, of course, I have thought about DMing this, but I said no.
Yeah, we talked about giving other people who DM less than us a chance to do so, but I think the general consensus was no, let one of the experienced guys do it.
Yeah, I think so too. Which, it worked out great. I think maybe our viewers think what's happening here. No.
You're trying to have viewers say that they would prefer you as DM, right? Yeah.
No, I have not heard that one. Sadly. Okay, so let's dive into the next question. Which is, of course, from Donkere Rups. Does this campaign feel different than a regular offline campaign in preparation and presentation as the Dungeon Master? Well, I think that's what I was referring to.
I delved into that a bit. Yeah, it does a lot. Like I said before about feeling the need to entertain and have a bit of excitement or drama or something happening during each session, which adds a lot to the pressure. And apart from that, I'm also handling the technical stuff during Precipice of Dreams. And that was just another workload, which I had to get used to. And essentially it's like learning to play a video game because you have to find the buttons quickly and stuff like that. And the more you do it, the more it becomes an automatic process. So you have more thinking space left to get back to DMing. But I, especially at the start, I felt really divided between those two things. Like I was doing two things at once, and that was stressful. But now that I've automated it a bit, I start making mistakes, but also I have more room on my head for D&D.
Yeah. And this mistake you're referring to, can you explain?
Elaborate on that? Okay. Well, I forgot the intro last time. I mean, that's this really set rider I follow for everything we do, but just because I've gotten more used to it, I wanted to do it by heart, and I didn't refer to my list and forgot stuff, so that happens as well.
Talking about
but on the other side, on the DMing side, having played multiple sessions now in this setting, I mean the world is new for me as well. I mean I thought up the world, but I haven't really lived in it, so to say. And for me, it's a journey as well, getting to know my own world and becoming more accustomed to things, to reacting to the players and what they're doing, and thinking about what would happen in this particular situation, because I have this whole world with general ideas, but it's the little stuff that comes to light now that the players are actually moving through that world, and that takes some getting used to as well, getting to know your own world. It sounds weird, but it really does.
We're going into that a bit later, but do you have Twitch on right now, Roger?
I do, yeah.
Can you watch it? Because I've got a big surprise for you coming up right now. So that was the intro for you, the intro that you skipped, and we did it right now during the show. We're back. What do you think of that?
It was kind of disruptive, and it wasn't on the list for this moment. So I'm feeling a bit out of sorts right now. So thanks for that. No, it was funny, Jasper. I'm not. See?
It was so funny. I don't know where that came from. I have got this funny head on top of my. Well, it's invisible, of course, but anyway. Let's see if I can go into the world question thingy, because I want to go into that with you a bit more. But I don't know which question it was. Well, let's put it. Let's delay a bit until we get to the question that's about your world. Yes,
Sure.
there's one in here for about the world. But first, of course, because I'm here, I'm very curious. How will Bowen stay strong? I don't want him to succumb to his immoral peers.
Immoral peers. It's
That's a
not
great
even your own
question.
question. Nice. Wow.
That's not even my own question.
No,
No.
yeah.
So I really thought I had to answer that, you know. Yeah, well... What?
Guys, you're distracting me. Let me answer the question.
So funny. Yeah, well, Bowen is a strong man, both mentally and physically. Well, when he's in control, at least. So he will get there. He's got a great moral compass, although some might disagree. Clear colored. I think he will not succumb to the immorality of his peers. And although it has been ascertained that they are quite immoral, that doesn't make them lesser people, I think. Although to an extent, of course, it does. See, this is kind of a Bowen answer to the question. But it might be a Jasper answer as well. No, he's exploring his beliefs as well, of course. Let's be a bit more serious about this topic, because I think it's an interesting question. Not the immoral part, but how will Bowen continue being Bowen on this journey? And the short answer is I don't really know how he will keep being himself, stay being himself. How he
should he?
Oh, I mean, know.
Character development is also a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
characters should develop and not remain stagnant, should it?
No, that's true. And of course, we have the big handkerchief story that's been part of 3 episodes right now, I think, which explains a lot about how he views the world, I think. And it's shrinking and it's growing at the same time. No, not at the same time. Consecutive moments.
For the people in chat, I have no idea what they're actually talking about, but it's okay. All these books and morality stories, and it's all new to me as well, so that's fun.
So Altreef wrote this great story about the handkerchief, the big handkerchief, which is a beautiful short story about a boy who says he can do magic, but nobody believes him, and to prove his point, he makes his handkerchief bigger and bigger until he lets a lot of things disappear that should not disappear. So he proves that he is a magician, but he loses his parents and siblings and part of the village in the process, which makes him, instead of loved, it makes him feared. That's the bit of the how the story goes. Now, what you might have to know about this story is that although Altreef wrote it, Jasper came up with it. So I'm feeding all three her own stories. We agreed on that, of course, and it's great fun to mix it into the episodes. And yeah, right, Michel? It's great, isn't it?
It says you forced me to write it.
Yeah, forced me to write it. Yeah, that might be. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, he thinks it's fun as well.
Yeah, luckily. I love it, he's saying. So now we know it's the truth. But I think the analogy really works for Bowen. He sees... he's afraid of lawfulness, unfaithfulness, and everything spreading because of naivety, which he is blamed for, by the way, but which might also be the case. But and I think that the handkerchief works pretty well with that. But he's staying strong underneath it all, and he might change, and he will change, of course, but some things will not change, that's for certain.
Yeah.
Since both of you are DMing campaigns, do you think that players' immersion in the world is one of the goals of a successful campaign? I haven't. Sorry.
Question. You're skipping a question by Sir Skanks a lot.
Yeah, but, I know. I just was going to say I saw the other question. I accidentally put this one first, but I will come back to the other one after this. Yeah. Is player immersion in the world is one of the goals of a successful campaign? What do you think?
Nah, it's a goal, but it's not what defines the success of a campaign. I mean, for me, a campaign is successful if the players are having fun and feel drawn to the story, but it's not the immersion into the world per se.
Do you think you can have them have fun without immersion?
In the world? Yeah. I think they can be perfectly fine just immersing into their characters, or just having fun with combat and die rolls. And I mean, there's a lot of types of different players. It's different for each player. And for some, being able to do tactical combat and making really well thought out the decisions there is the most fun they can get from the game. For the other, it's immersing into the world and really living in that setting that gives them the most joy in the game.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent answer. I can agree with that. Is that too short from my part? For my part, although I must say that immersion is quite high on my list.
It's for me. It's
important for
as well,
me as a player as well. So,
but I try to draw people in through story mechanics like mysteries and exciting moments and that kind of stuff, and make them interested in the world, so they immerse themselves. But but that has to come from them. I'm not going to force them to immerse themselves into the world if they don't want to.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Yeah,
thank you.
Pleasure. So do I get XP now? Okay. Being long-time players in each other's campaigns, can you describe your difference in DM style, and has this influenced your own DMing? If yes, in what way? Well, there's a question that can be answered in one sentence. Not.
So there's no difference.
No, it can be answered in
We're
one
vastly different.
We're wildly different, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you start?
Well, I mean, there is a big difference in our DM styles. but there are some things we both hold as important. What if I describe your DM style and you describe mine?
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
a fair deal?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's a fair deal. Fun.
Jasper focuses a bit on character drama. He takes characters on a journey through themselves and through horrific circumstances, to put it mildly. He makes us take a lot of moral decisions and makes us question our own morality as we go through his adventures. If you're ever a player in one of Jasper's campaign, don't play a paladin, because you'll not be playing a paladin. He will drag you through the mud, and he will have you doubt your paladinhood every step of the way. And
That's
being
so
part of his adventures is I think his adventures can be classified as dramas, and with a bit of horror.
Hmm.
But that might also be because of the party we have. Because my most of my experience as USDM is the party we have going for 8 years now, and we tend to create our own drama as well, especially in the interactions between the players, which is really it's a really fun party to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, I always like that moment where the party makes a decision and looks at me with these large eyes, expecting some kind of relief or possibly a blessing or
an answer.
You go,
just
girl.
An answer. We just want one answer.
And then I say, but you don't realize what you just did. And it goes. Yeah. But I must say, and that's let's describe your way of DMing.
Do you agree with me, or do you want to add something to it?
Yes, of course.
Well, to your own, what I said, did I forget something, or do you want to emphasize on something?
Well, I like the drama. I like the going through the deepest, darkest parts of your own mind and then coming out stronger. Which, to be honest, does not always happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, and I think you can say that my campaigns are a bit of horror and a bit of, well, morally grey. And I really like to stretch the relationships. The last couple of sessions where you were my player were really intense on nearly breaking the party after 9 years of playing. So that tells you something about the things that happen and the choices that are being made. So I really like that, but what I've taken from you, which you have pointed out more than once, is that maybe you should let your players feel more like a hero now and again. So slowly that has become a part of my adventures as well, I think.
I'm waiting for that to happen still, but okay. I'll believe
you. It happened before.
Yeah. We had our moments. Yeah, that's true.
And especially because you're talking about a hard adventure, but my other party has it possibly even.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
And they are now a bit on the uptake, I think. But
yeah. That's actually because of that party. I told you that, not because of our own.
No, that's true as well. Yeah. And then the party where our main question asker of the evening, Donkere Rups, is in, which is also one of my parties. I think, although it is sometimes the darkest night, so to say, and there is a paladin in that party, I think that they really spoil certain moments for themselves that I had not anticipated and were totally their own fault. And I'm so trying to make them feel cool. But, well, let's hope they do it.
Yeah, sometimes the player messed it up for themselves. That's,
a lot of questions going, but sexual undertones, it says. Das is Robin Hobb.
Yeah, that's
Rose Robert Jordan. Or Tolkien. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one. So let me describe your style, because we're going... well, this can go on for quite a while now.
If you don't start, it will go on longer.
Yeah, that's true. So your style is mostly heroic. You have the really long epic campaigns where the story really takes how do you say? It's this 3-part rocket that keeps on exploding and expanding the universe in some magnificent way, where what you thought was normal becomes the mundane, and then the new normal is something even more heroic than before. You really know your story from beginning to end, and especially right now, I think in your current campaign, you're still managed to treat it as a sandbox, which is great. I think that during the legacy, it was more working towards a certain goal, and I had some problems with that as a player at some points. You know this of me. So, but epic as hell, or as heaven, I don't know, or as both, or as sources, or as sanctuary, and but then Diablo ripped that away from you. Anyway, that's how I would describe your campaign, and every story arc is, well, it has its downs, but it has more ups than downs, I think, and really coming into their own strengths, and realizing they're part of a large universe.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. That's it's good to hear, because that's.
But then we did this adventure, and there was suddenly flesh blob, so I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, well, I warned you that this wouldn't be what you guys were used to me, because you, like you mentioned, Legacy of Time is an epic storyline where you actually battled gods in the end, and changed the whole flow of time and fate, and that's a story for another time maybe, but. And then what you said was true as well. The first campaign I did was more of a railroad, while the campaign I'm currently DMing is far more of a sandbox, but which has this red line running through it, which defines the story, and will and the players will interact with that at some points, and other points they won't. And that's I've left far more choice and to the in the players' hands this time around, and that was well by design. Just like the first. Well, to be fair, the first adventure was actually 3 parts. Like one with the party you were part of, and then we had the other party, the Reavers, some of who are in chat right now, and that was more sandboxy. And when you guys met each other, then the whole railroad began again. You had some freedom in the order of how you wanted to deal with things, but there was all these loose ends that needed to be dealt with.
Yeah. So those are our styles. So what did you take away from my DMing?
It's not necessarily the way I treat my stories or anything, because that's just what I want to do, but it's more the way you handle certain stuff, like the techniques in describing stuff around us, and as a player, I look at you and watch how are you doing this, and I think, okay, maybe I can emphasize some more on the being descriptive, or emphasize more on making skill checks, for instance, and because. And no, it's not the pulsating flashy things that I stole from Jasper. That's a whole different source of inspiration for that. But yeah.
Yeah, we all know that movie. Yeah.
Do? Okay.
Another 90s reference.
No, I'm not going to say what... no, okay. No, that's not it.
Well, so that's a long answer. Does it... do we answer? Did we answer what you asked us, Sir Skankulot?
Do you want to know more?
So many things I'm skipping right now. Things of something different. Yeah. I like the Robin Hobb and the Robert Jordan or Tolkien thingy.
Yeah, I actually don't. Because I don't identify with... feel myself identified with Robert Jordan or Tolkien.
Yeah, it's different.
Robin Hobb is a good reference. In the terms of drama and personal, the intrinsic story, you take people on.
Okay. Now, well, I think we answered the question. You want to say something new, or are we going to the new?
No, I'm not waiting for the next question. Then I'm.
Okay.
Says again. Thanks a lot. So.
Religious and moral debate, or sometimes even conflict, seems to be a large component of the journey. Is this a reflection of your own personalities, or is it something that just happened on the fly?
Well, I'm not part of any debate or anything. Yeah, that's not true, because my NPCs do. But well, I can admit that religion plays a big part in this story, and we'll see a lot more of that. And sure, I've drawn some inspiration from real life stuff, but I mean, what I say in game is not actually, might not reflect how I feel about certain religions, nor is the religion, the Adon religion, based on anything else. Like I said, I drew inspiration from real world, but that's about it. That's where it ends. But there's this whole, there's religion is an important part of the story, and there's a lot of happening because of that. There's these old gods that have gone. There's a new god, and the how and why of that is something we hopefully find out together.
Yeah. So, but this story is about more than one thing. I think it says religion, moral, and conflict. Yeah. I think the conflict is conflict can be between the religious
and the non-religious, yeah.
Well, I think we are quite a difficult party to. We all have different ideas. That's for certain. We all view our God or our backgrounds as a truth. Maybe, I don't know how to put it. Well, Bowen believes in Aiden. That's for certain, and he's not going to say that there's nothing else under the sun that has such an influence on the world as Adon. And as Jasper, I'm so hoping that this will stay for the rest of the adventure. And that of course gives conflict in a group where not everybody agrees. I mean, you have got a knight that is making fun of Templars. We've got a priest who is making fun of our monk, which is not in the party, the priest, but we have an old reef who is, has her own ideas about religion, I'm guessing. Thomas, I don't explicitly know what he thinks about religion, but because it's mostly Gunther speaking when stuff happens. And there's just these things like, will we dispose of this body or not? Or who is to blame for killing this person, and honesty and all these things that provoke a discussion on the spot, really, and make you think about how the world is working. The new wound as well. If that can happen on the road, who is responsible? What is responsible? I don't know. Probably not Adon. Yeah, you do. That's true. So, who's responsible?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to answer that.
But I think
you'll find out. You'll find out, probably.
All these discussions come from very firm beliefs that conflict with each other, and so there's conflict and strife, and so there's.
But drawing a bit more back to the question, because he asks if it's a reflection of our own personalities, like our real world personalities, and I don't think that it is, because I mean, it's just our characters or the NPCs. Of course we have opinions, but even as a DM, I've played multiple NPCs who have wildly differing viewpoints, and as player character you only play one character, or in the Eric's case two, but it's not necessarily our own viewpoint at all.
No,
and I think that's but I also think that that can be an important part of D&D, like putting yourself in the shoes of someone who you're not, and I think that is very educational, actually, and can help broaden your moral horizons. And
there are these funny things, because I don't believe in God in real life, for example, although I'm agnostic. And when I play Bowen, from Jasper's point of view, I'm more interested in the tenets and how they work out than in Adon specifically. And the tenets, you can say about some of these tenets, especially honesty, by the way, that's a big part of my life. To always be honest, which is impossible, of course, but there are always.
So we've seen.
Yeah, well, that's Bowen, but
and
it's impossible to. But one of the themes that is relevant in my own life, I can tell you this, is that you've got lies, and you've got neglecting to tell the truth.
Lying by omission. Yeah.
Lying by omission, yeah. And that last one is something. Well, we're going really. It's not as I say that I'm doing that, but we are doing that as human beings a lot. Just not saying stuff to each other. And that's what I am exploring with Bowen. If you are being honest all the time, what happens and what works for you. So in those cases, my personality comes through in a big way, exploring these parts of.
Yeah, but that's more from a philosophical viewpoint then. right? I mean, it's something it's not something you do in real life, right? Just always telling the truth, no matter what.
No, but I have, as Jasper, I have this thing where if you ask me something, and it's a direct question about something, and I will never lie to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Honesty is important. I agree. That's
so. That's a promise I made myself about 10 years ago, and I try to stay with that, but it's pretty hard sometimes.
I can imagine.
And as for religion, I don't identify with any religion myself, but I do think that it's. I had quite a lot of great conversations about religion, and always like how other people are talking about what they believe in, and I respect that a whole lot. And I try to incorporate that into Bowen, that feeling of being certain about something, which I am not, and I don't think I need that. But well, certainly an interesting topic in any moment of time. Yeah. So what are you exploring from your personal?
You mean in regards to religion, or just the religion based around Aeon is I can't really say what I'm exploring there, but that's something you see in real life. Like you said, like you can really admire people's religion and how they feel and feel passionate about it, and that can be a really beautiful thing to see. But on the other hand, you have these institutions tied to the religion, like the whether it's a church or a mosque, or there's these big organizations which are different, so to say, and treat religion differently than on an individual level. And that's something I might be exploring here, like the difference between religion on a personal level and religion on a greater scale, like the movements of a church. And
Okay.
But again, spoilers. So
yeah, I know, I understand. Creating a space where different viewpoints can interact respectfully is high on my list, says Mireneas. Well, that's true. It is for me as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like I said before. When putting yourselves into the shoes of someone who you're actually not, you learn something about the way they think, because you have to think like that when you are confronted with these situations in D&D, and it can really help to understand other people and and maybe develop some respect for them as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, actually.
There's one more question, then we are going to the last question because we are running late.
So there's two more questions, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one more question and then another question. Yeah.
Exactly. What's like your biggest fear as DM during sessions? I don't know if that's. I think that's directed at you.
Well, during these sessions, I don't think my biggest fear was as a DM. I think it was more from a technical standpoint, like messing stuff up and having audio fall out, or just the stream cutting out or something like that. And during the sessions themselves, I'm not actually that worried about most stuff during sessions. It's I like to see the players go on and on about stuff and sitting back and enjoying it. But and if they surprise me, I actually like that. If they come up with something unexpected and I have to improvise, that's for me, it's one of the best moments as a DM. So I'm always kind of hoping that stuff like that happens. But other than that, yeah, if I look at Voidcast, that my biggest fear is that people don't enjoy themselves and don't have fun, and that's because that's what I find most important on D&D, because we do this to have fun.
Yeah,
and
that's always my biggest fear as a DM as well. Also in private games.
Yeah. So exactly. If people are not having fun, I don't feel comfortable DMing at all. Then I really become self-conscious and feel like I'm doing something wrong. Because as a DM, you're there to entertain in a certain way, and even more so when streaming live.
Yeah. Okay, then we're going to the last question. Also question 4. I can't stand this. One moment. Okay. Question 5. Is it question 5? Yes, it's question 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much detail did you put into the creation of this world? 10 being talking level, 1 being winging it each session.
Okay. Wow. That's a difficult one. I think it's somewhere in between, because I've done both. I mean, as DM, if you ever are thinking about DMing at all, don't go Tolkien level, so to say. Just don't over prepare everything. Don't write whole lists of all the items that are available in the shop, the names of every character they might meet. Just leave it something small. The most important thing when building a world and your own campaign setting in D&D or any other RPG is that you know the world, that if something happens, you know what will happen as a reaction to that. And so not necessarily have every event planned out, but just feel comfortable about the subject matter, that you always have something to say and can respond to any question that's asked. But it doesn't mean that you have to write everything down or on paper, just that you have a broad overview of how a person, which can be an NPC or a city or the entire country or the world or the universe, can work. And you can start small and build up and explore these lands as you go with players, which I often do myself, because I have some general idea of how something is going to be, but it doesn't really get fleshed out until you put the players into it. And yeah, they get to interact with the environment, and then you can see what happens. And most of it, yeah, I wing at some point. So I think in between is the best answer, and that's the best
know your world,
tip
then
I
you
can
can
give
wing it.
everyone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's you shouldn't have to rely on note cards, because if you know your stuff, then everything will come naturally, and yeah, with more flow.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
Which I mentioned earlier that I had some trouble with. Or trouble is not the right word, but was one of my things that made me anxious when we started this campaign, because yeah, I had thought about a lot of stuff on a macro level, but also on a micro level, and I wasn't really living in it yet. I had to step in with players and discover it for myself before I could really get a feel of the thing I had in my mind. And the same thing is what Jasper earlier said about his own character, because he had this grand idea for this character, but as soon as he started talking, everything fell into place, and that's when his character actually got fleshed out.
True. And recognizable. I think as DM, sometimes you prepare for 20 hours to start something new, then you can sit back for 4 sessions afterwards because you have
Oh
enough
yeah,
content. And then when things happen that you didn't expect, you draw from your knowledge of the world and add to it, and it comes naturally, and the lines for players blur between what was prepared and what was not.
Yeah. Same thing goes for the story. If you have an idea of a story, you don't have to plan each step in that story. Sometimes stuff that players do derails it so completely that you can throw away everything you prepared in advance.
Oh, yes.
So the best thing is you do is have this general line, this idea, and react to the players and fit it in on into what they are doing. And sometimes I've planned stuff that I needed to happen in my campaign, and I could rack my brain about thinking ways of how to get the players there, and then suddenly they do something and it all clicks together, and I think, okay, now it's gonna happen. Now this is great.
Yeah.
This now it all fits. And remember, you're not writing a book, because if you're writing a book, you can just write the whole story and no one has any say in it. But in D&D, it's a lot of back and forth between the players and the DM, and the players have almost equal say in what happens as the DM does.
Yeah, I think so as well. Well, good answer, Mr. Dungeon Master.
Thank you.
So I have this next thing prepared. Is this the end? Yes, it is. It's the end.
I still think. Oh yeah, now that I'm here, I want to say something about it. Is this the end? Yes, it is. It bothers me. I just can't stand it. The end should be moved to where yes it is.
Yeah, I know, but
This should be where the
yes,
end.
it is the end. You can.
It's weird.
Yeah, I know, but it's by design. By design.
Yeah, I know, but it bothers me.
Yeah, I know.
Hasn't yet.
Sometimes you prepare 5
Yeah,
data sheets.
hard agree with Ro. Thanks.
My only friend, the end. True. That's where it comes from, Sir Skankalot.
Yeah, I know. 70s reference?
Probably.
Started in the 90s and we now moved back.
Well, doors are the hardest enemy in Dungeons and Dragons, so it all
That's true. That's true. Next up, doors. Ask your questions.
So this should be the hardest
and
thing
how
to
this would
digest
be
for you,
your main enemy in the campaign setting. Because you can make up a big bad villain, but doors will get your party down.
Anytime. Spending 7-level spells just to do ethereal stuff to get past them.
Oh, we actually, I remember in your campaign that there was this door, and we actually broke through a wall because that was easier.
Yeah, true. So strange. Yeah.
Of course, man.
Well, but it is the end.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Sad
already?
Yeah, it's over. No, every time I watch a show, I think it could go on for about another hour. And I would be happy to talk for another hour as well, but I'm also finding it fun to listen.
I think it's the longest episode yet, anyway. So
of course it is. 2 DMs, you expect.
2 DMs,
yeah.
2 DMs and a cup.
No, it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to the next time. And a special shout out to Donker Rups for all his questions, because they were good questions.
Yeah,
and I'm happy that people didn't want to know about all of this spoiler territory stuff, so I didn't have to say no, I'm not answering that. I could
more general. And right now I'm seeing that it shows the green lines from Discord on the screen, but that is because I had to change some stuff just before.
Only on your window though, and your mouse is on my screen, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. I had a lot of fun. Had some questions asked of me that I didn't expect on Talking Void. But about the DM thingy, for example. The thingy again. thought it was great. Yet another good episode of Talking Void. Can we say that about ourselves?
No.
And
well,
we're
I
doing
can,
it.
but you shouldn't, because it's your show, and that's...
Yeah? Are we that not self-aware?
Well, I have a great feeling about it, and we can say that. But
So we are Americans
we can't
now.
definitively say that this was a great show until other people tell us that this was a great show.
Was it a great show?
Asner, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it was a great show. Thank you. I think this is the end, the real end.
We almost
yes,
wasted 2 hours there. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's happening as well. Man, there's this. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Check all the socials. Ask your questions in any social or send them to voidcastlive@gmail.com. Be on our Discord. Ask us anything. We'll talk about it in the next Talking Void. And we had a lot of fun. Chat was very active this evening. And that was pretty much fun too. I hope I didn't skip anything in the end. But yes, it is the end. So,
sad.
Goodbye. Have some nice dreams with lots of fleshy stuff in it. Goodbye.
Rose. Bye-bye. Thanks.